invest $5 billion over a period of 5 years to promote research and development initiatives to solve social and economic problems by using cutting-edge technology like AI. Factors encouraging Google's establishment in Africa. Algorithmic colonialism. Algorithmic colonialism is the domination occurring through control of digital ecosystem and infrastructure. It influences the politics and culture of the country by controlling the communication medium. Big tech companies promote the technological growth by investment in research activities with underlying corporate intentions. Algorithm colonialism dressed in technological solutions for the developing world rarely faces any scrutiny or resistance. The government also wants to promote technological advancements and economic growth, and hence they allow big tech companies to invest in research activities to solve socio-economic problems. Facebook's example. Facebook came in with the aim of creating population density map for Africa by using computer vision techniques and population data. The firm assigned itself authority over mapping and controlling and creating population knowledge for the continent. Facebook promotes the altruistic goals of the project like creating knowledge about Africa's population distribution and providing aid for humanity and also connecting the unconnected. In the process, Facebook assumed that the continent's people's data is assumed for is freely available for grabs. It also gets authority over what is perceived as legitimate data and also what the data means. What the data means may be different in the African context. Now I will continue.
So I'll be continuing on the impact of Google's investment on the social order of the African continent. So let me go on to the first impact that we see here is the digital divide. Because of the diverse population in Africa, we see there are three kinds of people. The first being the people who have very high access to internet and communication technologies, while the other two group of people have access which is average or even lower than average or even no access to internet and communication technologies. So such technologies which are developed by Google or other tech giants are not accessible to to the groups 2 and 3 as we see here, the people who don't have enough access to technology and communication. Why I say this is that there are nations in Africa where internet is banned. Although Google over the years have taken efforts to solve these problems, but we feel that that such a kind of digital divide might still fit into this scenario. Going on to the other impact, we observe that the context in which the technology developed is mattered. So when such technology is developed by Western companies like Google, Facebook, and other big companies, we saw that how Facebook, in the earlier example, we saw that it took the control on how the data is to be interpreted. Now, this kind of control actually lies in the context of that region. So in this case, in this example that we see here, we see how this context mattered in the early detection of breast cancers, wherein mammography, which was very useful in the West for the early detection of breast cancer, this is not useful in the sub-Saharan African area due to the low availability of treatment options and the facing of a very complicated disease like breast cancer, which did not have good treatment options here. So such early detection did not be as effective in lowering the mortality rate of breast cancer treatment. It rather increased, as we see as we saw in the source during our research in the topic. Further, we see how the privacy is impacted for such kind of data. Now, whenever such projects like AI for social good, now the demographic information which was collected by Facebook also. So, Facebook being the developer of such a technology assumed people to be inanimate objects without having any emotions or or any such human qualities. They just see people as mere data points. So when they see people as mere data points, the whole notion of privacy gets a lower priority as compared to other issues which are dealt with while developing these kind of applications. So this might lead to data misuse or even threat to individual privacy, because the data can be even shared in an aggregate manner or in a normal manner, without any consideration of whether those individuals would like the data to be shared, like how we saw in the Facebook example earlier. So in the case study, we saw how surveillance fitted in this scenario. So WumaCamp basically developed an AI-powered surveillance which determined unusual activities by people. So the problem with this AI was it was biased towards black people doing committing crimes or doing unusual activities. It was biased towards black people. So in one of our literature reviews, we saw how that AI was only predicting black male people as the people who are doing some unusual activity, and this wasn't generalized to other racial forms in South Africa. So if the same technology is applied to Ghana or other parts of Africa, we would see an expansion of such a kind of method here. So basically, this was just biased towards how only dark people can do this kind of thing and do something wrong or do an unusual activity. But the other racial elements were assumed were not assumed, the AI wouldn't predict them to be doing something unusual. So concluding, we saw how so these were the impacts we thought we could see in the near future, how Google for Africa could impact the digital frame of Africa. Although these impacts are good, we need to be a bit careful and look at